A diagnosis of cancer, heart disease, or other serious illness can be devastating. It's important to know that you're not powerless, as there are ways to cope with the emotional distress. So today, I'm going to outline the common emotional responses to having a serious illness. I'm going to provide things you can do if you receive news of having a serious medical condition. And I'm going to provide suggestions on how to help someone you may know cope with a serious illness, such as covering the do's and don'ts. So let me get right to it. So what are the common emotional responses to serious illness? Well, this can include anger or frustration as you struggle to come to terms with your diagnosis. You might be finding yourself asking, why me? Or trying to understand if you've done something to deserve this. Facing up to your own mortality and the prospect that the illness could potentially be life-ending. Also worrying about the future, how you'll cope, how you'll pay for your treatment, and what will happen to your loved ones, the pain you may face as the illness progresses, or how your life might change. So it's also about grieving the loss of your health and your old life. You may feel powerless, hopeless, or unable to look beyond the worst case scenario. Regret or guilt about things you've done that you think may have contributed to your illness or the injury. You may also experience shame at how your condition is affecting those around you. Denial that anything is wrong or refusing to accept the diagnosis is another issue. A sense of isolation, feeling cut off from the friends and loved ones who can't understand what you're going through. You may also experience a loss of self, meaning you're no longer you, but rather your medical condition. So let's talk about what should you do if you get news about having a serious medical condition. Well, first of all, allow yourself to feel, because your emotions are going to exist whether you're paying attention to them or not. Ignoring them actually increases stress and can even delay your recovery. Another thing that you can do is try to be patient, and I know it's hard, but be patient with the pace of treatment and recovery. When you're faced with a lot of unknowns, you can still care for yourself. So you can eat a healthy diet, you can exercise or do any kind of movements, sleep well, and pursue those relationships and activities that do bring you joy. Another thing you can do is be open to the change, because some people actually experience a change in perspective. They focus on the important things in their lives. So they end up reevaluating what truly is important, and it gives them a different perspective on how they see themselves and the world and what they need to do. Reach out for healthy supports, because they can provide even practical assistance, such as driving you to medical appointments or even aiding you with household chores. Now, don't let worries about being a burden keep you from reaching out. The people who you actually reach out to, and again, you can be careful who you choose, they will actually be flattered that that you trust them and you won't judge them, they won't judge you as being weak or being a burden. So, as I said, look for the support from friends and loved ones who are good listeners. It doesn't have to be everybody. You can be selective. So you want to speak to those who can have your undivided attention and not judge you, like I said before, or even telling you how you should think or feel. Make FaceTime a priority. So, not to say you can't have some online support, but seeing people face-to-face plays a huge role in relieving stress, and it can boost your mood. Now, you can also join a support group so you can get some coping tips from others who are undergoing similar medical problems. Another thing is practicing stress management techniques. So I'm going to give you some examples. So when you do talk with others, as an example, again, people you trust, chatting face-to-face with a friend or loved one is another good reason to maintain social ties and activities. However, there might be times when you need to set boundaries. Now, this isn't just with people you trust, it's just people who might want to reach out to you, see how you're doing, so they have the best of intentions. But sometimes you might have to memorize a statement, such as if they're asking you about your medical condition, to say, hey, I need to stop you because I'm not in a place to hear this right now. I hope you understand. Now, if you feel rude or uncomfortable by saying that, add on to the, well, I'd love to hear more about how you're doing. Or you can say, my doctor told me it's important to limit what I hear during my recovery. That's perfectly fine. So, relaxation practices can also include mindfulness meditation, progressive muscle relaxation, or deep breathing. Another thing is trying to get enough sleep, quality sleep, by modifying your daytime habits and developing a peaceful bedtime routine. Also, try to be as active as possible because exercise is an effective way to burn off tension and relieve stress. Even if you can't be as active as you would like, you can still probably have some, even if it's limited, range of motion. You can also pick up a long neglected hobby or try a new hobby. Taking a class or joining a club can help you pursue a hobby and expand your social network at the same time. You can also learn something new, such as how to play an instrument, maybe even a foreign language, learn a new game, and if, depending on how you're doing physically, maybe even learn a new sport. Spend time in nature. Work in your yard, take a scenic hike if you can, go fishing, walk your dog in the park. Being out in the outdoors is really is good for your body and your brain. You can also write a memoir, or maybe a how-to book, or a blog about your experiences. Another thing that you can do is counter your what-ifs. If you say what if such and such happens out loud, it can help you put things into perspective. Now, if you have a fear, that what if and a fear of what that could be, if it's unwarranted, verbalizing it can often help you expose it for what it is, which is an unhelpful worry. Now, it may not necessarily be unwarranted, but challenge the thought. What's the probability that what you're scared of will actually happen? What are some other likely outcomes? Or what would you say to a friend in your situation who had the same worry? Now, this is not to say that your worry isn't valid. The outcome might be very high. And that's why it's important to have a toolbox of techniques. Another one is accept the uncertainty. Worrying about all the things that could go wrong won't make your life any more predictable. It will only keep you from enjoying the good things you're still able to experience in the present. Stick to your regular routine as much as possible. Now, while many things will change quickly, if you have a diagnosis, it shouldn't take over your whole life. Following your usual routine when you can gives you a sense of control. And of course, another strategy is consider professional support to give you particular strategies to deal with the obstacles in your particular situation. So, what about helping someone else who maybe it's a friend or a family member and they're coping with a serious illness? Well, certainly offer your support, and this could be offering to help with a specific task, even if it's just to simply sit with them during or after a treatment. Just be there. You can listen, allow them to express what they're going through without judging them or telling them how they should feel or trying to put a positive spin on everything. Now, you can educate yourself about the illness, but don't give advice unless you're asked. Treatment decisions are ultimately always up to your loved one, so be supportive even if you don't always agree. Stay connected. Your support can be just as important after treatment as it is before. So, just a little summation about talking to someone who has a serious illness. I'm just going to really quickly go over some do's and don'ts. So I'll start with the do's. Do let the person know you're available to listen whenever they want to talk. Do admit if you feel awkward. It's better to be honest rather than trying to pretend nothing's wrong on your side. Now, if you struggle knowing what to say, remember even a warm hug or a tender touch can say a lot. And if you can't visit them in person, let your loved one know that you're thinking of them with a call, a text, even sending a card, some type of gesture. And above all, try to keep your relationship as normal as possible. So you can share a joke or a laugh when appropriate, because the person who is going through that illness doesn't want to be treated differently. Now I'm going to go over some don'ts. Don't tell the person you know how they feel or compare their situation to someone else's, because everyone's circumstances are unique. Also, try to avoid telling them that everything will be fine. These kind of platitudes can just make it harder for them to talk to you about the challenges of their situation. Say that and try to avoid to say to your loved one to, and I'm putting this air quotes, stay positive or look on the bright side, because this can come across as pressuring them to behave in a certain way. So they may feel a little hesitant about expressing their true feelings if you're constantly telling them to be positive and you're not feeling positive. Also, avoid taking things personally if that person doesn't want to talk or is angry or upset. Now, overall, no matter what your new normal looks like with a medical illness, make time to take care of yourself. It may feel like the last thing you have time for, but think of it as part of your treatment. So regular exercise, healthy food, good sleep, time with people you love, and even activities that can make you smile or laugh are the basis for good health and healing. If you've learned something from this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment below what resonated with you. I also have another video I want you to watch. It's called Tips to Stop Overthinking. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please comment below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everyone. Take care, and remember to keep your mental game on.